Hey, look at all these cool Sawdust Talk people. Let's get a cell phone plugged in and not drop a bunch of stuff on the ground. Hey, look at that. All right, and everybody is piling in. That is excellent to hear. We've got an awesome show for you tonight. We've got Nancy with Nothing Too Perfect, who is here. We're going to get all the cool kids in just a minute. It's going to be an awesome show. Greetings to all. Look at all these cool kids showing up. I'm so excited. Look at all these. Two Kyles joined at the same time. Holy moly. Holy moly. Let's see if we can get some cool kids in here real quick. Do. You. Let's see who else is here. All right. Hey, Nancy.
I'm here.
All right. We got a few more minutes, and then I think the other cool kids should be here. I'm just refreshing the list.
Well, I've been here since 4, so that's okay.
Well, you nailed it. All right. So we're going to see if Jeff is going to make it, and then Macy should be here in a minute. I hope we don't have a time zone issue with the two of them, but I know Kyle Hayden is chomping at the bits to fill in if we need him to, so I'm going to refresh this list a couple of times and we'll get everything rocking and rolling here. But I'm so excited to have you on tonight.
Oh, good.
We're going to have some chits and some chats and reminisce about the good old days and the not so long ago days, and maybe even giggle a little bit about some bad shop advice tonight. Who knows?
Yeah.
There she is. Macy is here. All right. I don't see Canada Jeff yet. Let's see if Macy pops in. Greetings.
Hi.
Excellent. Glad you can make it tonight, Macy. We're going to give Jeff about one more minute, and while we are waiting for him, I am going to officially welcome you gals, and everyone in the audience to tonight's Sawdust Talk, which is brought to you by George Supply Company. Scott over there at George Supply helps woodworkers and makers get their promotional products and merchandise needs met. He's also a really great business coach. He is really found his niche within the maker and woodworking community, and we love that he's got our back here on Sawdust Talk. So if we have a nice showing tonight, which it looks like we do, good googly moogly, 33 viewers already. We'll probably be able to give away a gift card tonight also, which is awesome. And I know Nancy has actually won one of those Sawdust Talk George Supply gift cards, which is pretty great.
And we had to give it right back to Sawdust.
Yeah, it was awesome, and we are grateful. But yeah, you got that shirt in the retina burn orange there, which is fantastic. Yeah, just in case people couldn't see it while you were hunting and wanted to know that you were going to make some stuff.
I come in like a tank, yeah.
All right. We're going to give Jeff maybe another 30 seconds. Kyle Hayden, are you in the chat there? Do you want to maybe fill in if he doesn't show up here in a second? Let's double check with the chat. Now we have to wait for the 30-second delay for Kyle's response. Yeah. Look at this. We got someone from Lubbock, Texas in the house. Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. Come on, Jeff. All right, Kyle, I'm going to send a request. Pop on in if you want to, and we'll get the show on the road. Boom, look at this guy. Is your shop clean and everything? Holy moly. All right. So I am TJ Thayer with TJT Workshop in St. Louis, Missouri, filling in for Kyle Brewer tonight. I do a little bit of woodworking, I do a little bit of metalworking, and most of the stuff that I do takes place on a lathe, but I've been sticking a toe into flat work here and there every once in a while. Macy, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about
Yeah,
what you got going on?
I'm Macy. I am Sweet Pine Designs. I make signs for the most part, home decor. I'm trying to lean my business a little bit more towards business logos just because I enjoy them a little bit more. But yeah, I'm in Wiggins, Colorado, a little tiny town. Yeah, this is my first time doing something like this. I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. We're excited to have you, and it's nice to get a fresh face in here every once in a while. And this fella who's down here for me, Kyle, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, I'm not a back hat wearer, but I am a garage woodworker, and so I just like building stuff. It's a pleasure to be on here with Macy, to meet her for the first time. She's done some phenomenal work for me, and I genuinely appreciate her. And Nancy, you follow all of my videos, all my lives, and one like the sole just person who sits there and just watches me. So I'm the first time as well.
Yeah.
Always.
All right, Nancy, why don't you give us the proper introduction?
Well, I'm Nancy from Nothing Too Perfect, Redmond, Oregon. I love wood, and I piddle around with trying to make things, and with a little epoxy work and woodworking.
That's so awesome.
That's about all of it in the can.
Yeah. So for all of the cool kids that are watching us today, all 33 of you, if you guys want to ask any questions of Nancy, there's a little question bubble down there in the bottom. Go ahead and pop them in there, and we'll make sure to get those asked. But I just want to start with one. Tell us a little bit about Nothing Too Perfect. Why did you choose the name? What's it all about?
Well, here back umpteen years ago, about 2000-ish, 15 or so, living in LA, still at that time, my son was like, well, what, you need to start selling things on Etsy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm better, I do fine with the garage sale flags. People will buy them, they're fine. He goes, no, let's go make some things and I'll post them for you. What's your name going to be? And I went, what do you mean my name? Well, you have to have like a business name or a tag name or something. And I went, well, I have no idea. And at the time, my husband walked through and I said something, he said something about perfect. And I said, well, nothing's ever perfect. And then my son went, Nothing Too Perfect. There we go. And that's how it came.
That is so
as simple
excellent.
as that. So, unfortunately, I don't sell anything on Etsy anymore, but I stuck with the name, and it just started off with that. So,
that is so awesome.
It's just the funny story behind it.
So you and I think, met via Instagram because of a marathon bad shop advice that I think ran
right
4
into
hours.
we too. Well, for me, it wasn't that long. It didn't seem like, but for everyone on the East Coast, it was much longer. Yeah, I think
Yes.
it ran into 2 a.m. here, so it was like 3-4 o'clock Eastern and all that time for you guys in Missouri. Yeah.
I was absolutely astounded that not only you found us interesting enough to camp out for that long, but that you stuck with us.
I think that was like the second one.
Yeah, I think so.
I missed the first one, and then I ended up with the second one, and then have watched ever since. So, but yeah, that was definitely a marathon night. Yeah, I wasn't
it's
doing
amazing.
anything, so.
Yeah. Well, again, I want to tell you that over here at Sawdust Talk, and I know that the guys over at Bad Shop Advice and huge swaths of the woodworking and maker community absolutely adore the support that you provide for all of us. So I'm going to continue gushing like this as the hour progresses. But I've been joking with my wife all day that I get to interview whom I'm convinced is maybe my biggest fan online. So it's pretty exciting stuff tonight.
I get real excited about seeing everybody's feeds come through, and unfortunately, Instagram hides everybody, and they want you to see everybody that you don't follow, so you have to go searching for everybody that you do follow. And I'm like, okay, I don't want all the new people that aren't following me. I want the people that are following me, and I'm going to follow them. So it's just a little battle between the phones, I guess you could say.
Oh, I still think it's great. Kyle, what you got going on down there?
Well, yeah, Nancy is definitely my number one follower. She's always on lives, man. She's the last one there too. Everybody else leaves. Nancy is still there. A trooper, man. So I actually, I never knew that Nancy was a daycare teacher. So Nancy, I had a question for you.
Sure.
My wife is actually a director of a daycare. So
Uh-huh.
what was your career like in daycare? Were you just a teacher, a director, assistant director?
I was a teacher for 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I taught from 2-year-olds. I started off with I started off with a kindergarten assistant, and then after a year, I got my own class as a 2-year-old teacher, and stayed with that for almost 10 years with 2s, went to 3s, went to 4s. My son had gone through the preschool also, which I could not be in the same building as he was. So those couple years we had to swap out to 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds to 4-year-olds. And then I ended up with 3-year-olds for the rest of my career that I ended up working. So there isn't a whole lot that I haven't seen in preschool.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and it
And
was
that
one
explains
preschool
her
too.
infinite patience.
Yeah, it was the one preschool also I stayed with for 30 years, same school, which the turnover in preschool is unreal. I mean,
Oh.
I know as a director, when they start hiring, they're like, how long do you think you'll stay with us? You know, is it a year? Is it until you get your AA, or is it till you get 1 or 2 classes? Are you going to leave? And it's so hard to find teachers that will stay long term. And I was happy enough that I didn't want to go anywhere else. I just wanted to stay in that preschool environment, and I stayed. So, and matter of fact, there were 1, 2, 3, there were 4 of us. Terry, Kathy, Jeanette, and myself, 4 plus Maggie, all stayed in the same preschool for over 30 years. And matter of fact, I left, they were still there.
Well, that definitely sounds indicative of your character, staying with something and being so loyal for so many years
Yeah.
in the woodworking community, being just as loyal and just being an ambassador for the woodworking community. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't want to miss anything. I might, I need to learn everything I can. So everything I have learned, it is because of Instagram and all the short videos. You'd be amazed, the short videos, how much they help, whether it be just routing out for a hinge or routing a different way of doing it, or all those little simple little tricks that people video, even though it's at 90 speed, but you keep watching it over and over, you kind of figure out how to do it. And that's how I've learned. I didn't know anything about woodworking in the last 4 years. I mean, all I did was draw cartoon characters life size for kids, and built things out of cardboard life size for kids, and I didn't know how to woodwork until I actually started making flags. So that's basically where it's grown to, should I say, is
Excellent.
just learning.
All right. Macy, is your connection doing okay down there?
I can hear you now. I missed that last part of that, but now I think it's okay.
Oh,
Okay, right on. You want to fire a question in there?
Sure. What is your favorite thing to make?
probably flags. I enjoy making the flags, even though they're a little bit time consuming and you kind of get bored with them after a while. It's like, how many stripes can you do? But I've gone to the wavy flags. I've done a little more of a, like the engraving of them with the router. I did a dog. I burned a few. I did the fireman. I did the canine one. And so I kind of changed it up over the last year or so. So I don't mind the time consuming part of them. It just, when they get kind of built up, I had about 3 that I had to build like all at one time. And it was kind of like a little rushed, but I would say flags.
Awesome.
Definitely flags.
What about your least?
Anything with epoxy.
Anything with what?
With epoxy. I'm still learning that part. Epoxy, I love doing it. I pour a project and then I'm like change my mind on what it should be, whether it should be a cribbage board or a serving tray or something. And then I let it sit there for a few weeks or so. And then I decide, okay, I'll start sanding it now and see what I want it to be. It just, sometimes that's even more time consuming, especially during the summer when it's hot in the garage. You just don't want to sit here at 95 degrees and sand epoxy. So that's a little difficult.
So I went cruising.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I went cruising through the Instagram as I am wont to do, and I'd like to chat a little bit about that fancy drum sander of yours.
Oh, that one?
Oh, that little guy right there, that beast in the middle of the shop.
Yeah, that little grizzly little thing that is
Yeah.
a headache. Yeah, that's a headache. Yeah, that one.
Oh.
Oh, it's a beautiful sander, but the belt on it, if you hear any problems with that on the internet, that's going to be your number. YouTube is the belt. To get that to stay where it's supposed to stay is a nightmare. It is just horrible. And I love the sander, but just don't mess with those little screws because it'll just on you.
I got that problem with my little teeny tiny belt sander too. It goes up and down, and yeah. No,
But
every time I change it, I find myself putzing with it. That's how they get you.
changing the paper's not bad. That's it. We had to learn the spring in the drum. It has the spring action, and so the first time it's like, how you get it tight? How do you, and then of course you read the manual, and then it's spring loaded. Oh, okay. Go back and find the video and realize how to do that. Then putting the paper on is not that bad, but the belt, that is, and if it gets stretched out by any means, it just will not stay centered at all. But once you get it, you just leave it.
Gotcha. All right, Kyle, what you got going on down there? And can you guys see me okay? We've got a major rainstorm coming through, and you guys are all buffering, but I seem to be coming in okay.
Oh, no,
You're fine.
So
Yep,
I wanted to touch on the flag. So I haven't seen your flags. I did see an amazing end-grain cutting board that you made a while back. So that end-grain cutting board was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was the first one. I didn't.
One?
Yeah, that was the first one I ever did as an end grain. That was a practice for my son's upcoming one. So that was the first one I ever did.
Well, that's just a practice. I definitely want to see the finished product.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have a pile of wood that he bought from Gobi Walnut over here in Oregon when we were over in the Portland area, and he picked up some ash and walnut live edge, and so I still have it to mill up and get his board ready. And yeah, so that was the practice one, because I didn't know what kind of pattern I wanted or what he wanted, and he's so picky. So it has to be perfect for him.
well, is he paying? It'd be like, hey, if Mom's gonna make it, he's got to appreciate it, right?
Oh, he bought the wood, so that's good enough.
Okay.
He bought the wood, so at least I can do is make it for him.
There you go. So what do you like making your flags out of the most? You like hardwoods? Are you pine and painting? I haven't seen any of them, so I gotta ask.
Yeah, just basically 2x4s, and then I mill it up, cut it down, strip them out, uh, and then I do the weave cut on them to make the wavy flags, and then
Okay.
I glue it all together. And once they're glued, then I take the grinder and grind the waves down into them, and then sand them. Then I hand stain most of them are stain. I've done a couple paints, but the stains to be a little easier. And I do the tape, and each one has the tape, and then I stain, pull off the tape, retape it, and restain them. But 2x4s usually. I'd like to do a walnut flag with a maple and see how, but I haven't gotten there yet.
I've made some flag setting boards. I've done one with walnut and did one with walnut and maple.
Mm-hmm.
And those were nice, but those were edge grain. My next challenge, I want up there. There he goes. He's back.
We good?
Those Missouri rain clouds, huh?
Oh man, I don't know if you guys can hear the thunder and lightning going on over there, but we should be in much better shape
Wow.
now. So I think the whole stream should just be a lot happier. We made a small subtle change. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you guys have had a lot of rain in the
Yeah, a
last week or so.
little bit. But no, I think we should be good. And Ed put 13 questions out of 20 down in there, so he was really nervous we were going to lose them all. Macy, you want to fire one more off, and then we'll go down into the question window.
Yeah, sure. You said you closed your Etsy shop. Do you still take orders, or do you just make what you want to make?
I just make basically what I want, and by word of mouth in the neighborhood, I've sold things. I've done. The neighbor down the street just, I guess, loves what I do, and he's like, okay, I want 2 serving trays for my dad. I want 2 and so those what the 2 epoxy builds were, just down the street for the neighbor. And he goes, oh, I like that lamp, and I also want 2 of those. So those took almost umpteen months for me to complete between doing everything else that I was doing. So I just finished up those builds, and like I said, that's taken me almost 2.5 months just to finish those. So what am I doing now? Right now I'm in the middle of finishing up something as a surprise for someone. So once I finish that, then I'll get back onto another flag and post it here in the neighborhood and see if it sells. And
And is
I'm
that the
happy with.
surprise? Was that the one on the scroll saw?
Yeah. I
Awesome.
the piece of scrap juniper that 2 years ago, when we moved up here, we went into the forest with a cutting permit, and there was a company out there trying getting all their juniper for their custom shop, and they pulled the logs. The forest cuts them down. The milling company, or the company, comes in and they pull the trees out and they mill them up for what they want, and then just leave the outside of the trees. So I was in 7th heaven, and we just had oodles and oodles of scrap juniper at our, just the rounded part that I can just shave off or anything. And I just have so much juniper just stashed in the sheds and anywhere I could put a piece of juniper. And I even found a whole pile of twisted red juniper, which you cannot find anymore in Oregon, except towards the southeast. I guess they're still growing a lot, but you can't cut it down. So I've got a little gold mine kind of like throughout the sheds of hoarding wood.
Oh, yeah. That's a really cool species too. I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about working with juniper.
No,
Um,
it sometimes it can be a headache because number one, it's so soft. You sand it too long, you're gonna have a big hole because it just sands so nice. I mean, you could go from 220, or shoot, you can go from 60 to 220 and be fine. That's how
oh,
soft it is. It just sands up perfect.
that's cool. And then before we jump down into the question window, Allison Carroll Co. wins the quick lottery. What's the plan for the juniper?
Well, we're hoping. I have quite a few large bases, should I say, of, of, of root that we found in a lake that we kind of put in the kayaks and we paddled it to shore. So, like a sitting type of sculpture with a lamp is my goal. And that's in the shed also, getting sanded when I get to it. And I'm hoping just to mount quite a bit of it on certain plates for little light bulbs and things like that.
That's super fun. Kyle wants to know where do you go for your inspiration? And we'll try and get some more of these questions knocked out. Macy, you're going to be asking the next one.
Basically, just sometimes it's just my head. They just kind of, I see something maybe on TV and I went, oh, maybe if I put it this way or do that. It just comes to me sometimes. A lot of times I'll see something on that I've seen 4 or 5 years ago. I saw something and it'll come to me and I'll start making it or something. So yeah, just the head, I think.
Very cool. Macy, do you know how to navigate where the questions are hiding?
I think so. So Maker's Way wants to know what's the best bad shop advice you could give somebody.
Bad shop advice?
Yeah.
Bad shop advice would be, don't use a zero clearance insert on your table saw and put it up to a 45-degree angle. Go ahead and try that and see if it works.
Whoa.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I gotcha. Oh, boy. All right, Kyle, you want to pick one out of the pile?
Yeah, I got one. Kyle Brewer, he's on vacation in Florida, but I figured I'd choose one of his questions. So, Nancy, what is your biggest struggle in the shop, and how did you overcome it?
Biggest struggle in the shop is the router table, and I haven't overcome it yet. I want to freehand, the roundovers on a board, or the template through the router, and I'm just not there yet. I've done a few miter cuts. I did a box recently, and I did the chamfer on the lid for the inside, so I was able to do that. But the template writing on the table, on the router table. Now, regular routers, I'm fine with. I love routers, but just getting it down on a template, no. Such as this nice little bear here. I'd love to put this on a piece of wood, cut it on the bandsaw, and then run this through the router. And I'm just not there yet. Any other tool, I'm fine with, but I see the snaps and the flies, and it catches the bit. And no, yeah.
Do you have like a router lift table, or what kind of router table?
I put my router table inside my rigid table saw on the end. It's a Woodcraft made umpteen thousand years ago by craftsmen, I think, with a craftsman uh, router in it. But it's just all metal, and there's no lift, or it's a pain in the butt to get underneath and turn the knobs and raise it up and down. But once you get it set, it's okay.
Yeah,
But
if you wanted to in the near future, if you wanted to invest in, say, a router lift, they have the threaded insert where you can install the starter pins. Are you familiar with those?
yeah,
Yeah, that would definitely help you a lot. I too have a 7/8 inch pattern, and when you put the thing in a router, the vibration is enough to scare anybody. So I'm a little myself, Nancy.
yeah. I would love to get. I know another one that will fit in there is the Bosch table. Will fit inside the rigid table, but just in the last year or two, it just hasn't been on my list for something to get yet. Or should I say, my husband hasn't bought it yet. Who loves to buy tools?
Maker's Way, really. Wait, that's not the one we want. Here it is. On a scale from 1 to Citizen Kane, how would you rate RoboCop?
Oh, well, let's say his first mission, it was cute. It's definitely an 80s movie, should I say. Remember, I grew up in the Bionic Woman era and Bionic Man era, not RoboCop. But, okay, I saw it. I enjoyed it then. I'm not saying I'd probably enjoy it now.
Oh, you're missing out on a lot of fun.
But I remember them.
Oh, that's great. All right, Macy, you want to pick one out of the pile?
Yeah, Mancini Woodworking. What is an attainable dream shop, and what tools are in it?
Oh, Dream Shop would just be connecting all the shops that I have outside plus the garage all in one. Then I wouldn't have to leave the garage to go to the shed to go to the other shed, which is a pain in the butt. And I'm happy with the tools I have because I've been pretty blessed with what I've got. And what I've got is pretty nice. So it's just that everything's kind of split up. I've got bandsaw, chop saws, and sanders in one shed. And then I got the drum sander in the other shed with all the wood plus another planer. And then I have the planer, the jointer, and the sander in this one with the table saw. So it's just like a circus when I have to do things. But
I got you.
Yeah, just connect everything.
That sounds awesome. Kyle, you want to pick one out of the hat?
Yeah, TJ's partner, his significant other, posted down there and kind of stepping away from woodworking. But do you have any funny daycare stories?
Oh,
One that sticks.
one that you can say. Over the years, there's been some scary ones, to tell you the truth. Upset parents to the point where we've had to protect the child. Those aren't fun. To funny is on the top of my head. Again, it's been so long now since I've even stepped in the preschool. Once we left LA, not right off the hand, but I'll think in my head as the hour goes on, if I have one. Yeah, I'll have to think.
That is excellent. All right. Mancini Woodworking's asking the hard-hitting questions today. Is a hot dog a taco or a sandwich?
Well, I'd have to say a sandwich. I'm the sandwich.
I feel you. All right, Mason, you pull one out of the pile.
Mancini Woodworks wants to know, as far as woodworking, what do you want to be known for?
Probably just making someone happy would be enough for me.
Well, consider yourself a success right here.
Just
I think both of them are
you know,
happy.
just, oh, I remember she smiled at me or something. Just knowing that someone's happy. That's good enough for me.
Well, again, I mean, you can see the hearts floating up in the corner. You got quite the fan club from being a super fan and supporter for all of us, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank
Kyle,
you.
you want to pull one out of the hat?
Yeah, Zach at Double K wants to know what your preferred medium, your preferred materials are. Do you like epoxy? Are you still intimidated by it? You want to get involved in that? Like hardwoods, exotics, domestics, softwoods is fine. Like, what's your favorite material to work with?
I would say on a learning aspect, which I'm learning everything, I think I would prefer the hardwoods. I've done the pine, I've done the hardwoods, and I've done the epoxy. As far as what I feel good about and comfortable about, I would say hardwoods. And most of that is still scraps. I work a lot with scraps. I look online to find people throwing things away, and I go and get it. And I've got an entire shed from someone in Bend, Oregon, which is just down the road from us.
Mm-hmm.
And his mother was selling the house. He was in Montana and came down to help her. He posted a picture of, I have hardwood, let me know if you need any. And so I answered that post, and my husband and I went down and met him, and he goes, I'm not going to pull everything out until we know what you really want, because it's everywhere. So he showed us every spot that his dad had. Him and his dad both kind of piddled around with wood. And he showed us the garage, the shed, the other shed, under the trailer, into wherever it was. And he goes, well, after the tour, he goes, well, how much do you think you kind of want? Then we'll work out a price. And I said, oh, I'm taking all of it, sir. And he goes, you want it all? And he goes, I haven't given you a price. And I said, well, I think you're going to give me a fair price, because I'm helping you and you don't have to deal with this anymore. So we'll load it up as long as you help us, because I'm can't lift a whole lot and do a whole lot. But if you allow us to come back and get loads, I'll be more than happy to take it all off your hands all at one time. And he agreed on a price, and I said, that's great, shook hands, and we loaded up the truck. And I think way down in my post, I think it was the beginning of this year, that's all scrap wood, and that's all I've been working with, except for the major, like the cutting board, but all the bottle caps, all the marble games, all that has been scrapped. Scrap wood.
The bookmarks that I made, I'm sure you've seen those. Those were all out of my scrap pile. I did some grain mosaic coasters. They were all out of my scrap pile. I don't throw anything. I never know what it's going to turn into, but it's end up being something.
Yeah, this is a piece that the gentleman in Ben. I just, I paid money for scrap wood. I don't know what this will be one day, but I've got two of them, and they're a perfect 45. So it's a start of something. I don't know yet, but I won't put it away until I figure out what I'm going to make out of it.
You know what?
It might be a sign, it might be a frame, I don't know.
You know those are the
But
perfect size for? Run those
hmm?
through the table saw and then switch them back and forth with the herringbone pattern. They look about the right size. Use those little the cheese slicers from Woodcraft. A
Yeah.
cheese board. There you go.
Matter of fact, I've ordered those this year because they were always out.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, we're going to order 10. I don't know when I'm going to use them, but you're always out. So I am good with cheese cutters. I got Rocklers and I got Woodcrafts because those are the only two stores that sell them. And I think I got 10 of each, Rocklers and Woodcraft. So I'm good on cheese cutters. And then I bought a bunch of, since I'm learning the lay a little more, I've got the bottle cap, the wine cap things, and a couple ice cream things, and pins and pencils. I've got those ready in the wings for, I've got a piece here that I want to make into a pin, which is little baby pine cones. And we're going to see how this works. And this is glow in the dark.
Oh,
So this will kind of, I don't know if it's going to work as a pin, but I'm darn well going to try it because this was leftover epoxy from something, and I threw in the glow in the dark just for additives, and we're going to make it into a pin.
Do it.
My
Yeah.
Do it.
husband,
And
he
when you
does.
do it, send me videos of it. I'm going to be
Okay.
there with bells on.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a little thick, but that just means I got to practice more in getting it centered, the hole. But, you know, I think hopefully it'll turn out. I haven't been on the lathe for quite some time. And matter of fact, I never finished the bowl that I have on there. And so I got to finish that first. And, I got to get back. It's just so hot here in the last couple weeks that 105, you're just not in a shed. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Yeah, but
The
all the cool
cats are
kids use a
fooling
lathe,
us.
so you're in good company. You're definitely in the cool kid club for that.
Yeah. The
Macy,
cats are
you
foolish.
want to
I
pick
am.
one out of the hat?
Kyle wants to know, who do you look up to on Instagram?
Oh, well, for everybody that I put a heart next to, from Kyle's to the Jeffs to the, oh, you know how many TJ, oh, I get confused. You know how many T's there are out there, and J's, JD, JC, oh, sometimes I mail the wrong person the wrong address, but the sticker gets there one way or another. But I would say for epoxy work, I go J JD Customs, I believe. And for woodworking, it's just Kyle and everyone. Just, I don't think I have a favorite. There's just so many. You got Cold Brew that started with the epoxy, and then he kind of took over and started with the big tables, and and he went to the cutting boards and things, and then he moved. So everybody kind of switched up, and for a good laugh, just to see their videos would be 3D Dave with and the in Chicago. What's his name? He just moved this scene in machine today. He's posted a video of it.
I
He
can't
put up
say the
the air
name, the Hawaiian
conditioning.
name.
Well, Aloha John too. I followed. He was the first person I ever followed and bought the forms from. And John Aloha was the first artisan, was the first person that ever helped me here on Instagram. And him and Woodbury was the first to ever help that I actually talked to. And so those two definitely have always been right there on the top notch. But, just I could probably pick 10 out of the hat that I know what are doing, and just I just watch.
That is so awesome. We've got a really fun one from Ed again because he stacked the deck down there. I think he just likes hearing his name in the show. He wants to know how your family plays a role in your woodworking.
Well, the dog steals everything out of the garage, the new one, the new pup. Uh, Murray just sits in the bed and, glares at me, Mr. Inspector. My husband enjoys that I'm enjoying myself. Does that make sense? Yeah. I've struggled so many years with myself with pain that it's miserable. And so if I can pick up a piece of wood and create something with it and forget how much pain I'm actually in while I'm doing it, I'm successful. And then at the end of the day, I can't walk or I can't, stand up straight. I know during the day I just had fun because of the woodworking. So he has his own hobbies and he loves his hobbies, and we kind of go together with the hobbies. I always need help, and he loves his drones and his telescopes. So, we'll go out in the middle of nowhere and find the stars in the middle of the night or something, So up here in Oregon, which isn't too hard, we drive 10 minutes, we're in the middle of nowhere. And, so definitely a support either way. And both my sons love that I'm making them things. I made my son the dough board for the grandkids because they make the pizza. So next on my list is to make he bought a pizza oven. So now I got to make the spatula for the pizza for the
big
oven.
pizza peel, sure.
Yeah, so I have to make one of those in the next couple months or so. And so a very good support system.
Sorry, we lost Macy, but I think she's going to pop back in here in just a second. That's and she's back. All right.
Sorry, it's a little hot out here.
No, it's all good. But yeah, I think it's rad. And then we talking of hobbies. Did I see a photo of you target shooting in one of your Instagrams? Is this a little something about you that we didn't know about?
Yeah, we do a lot of well, not a lot of shooting. We would do more. Right now, it's just too hot. But my son and husband and we go out target shooting, and I love to do the clay pigeons. I'm not very good at it, but I sure do try. Well, I guess I'm sort of good at it. I do hit them. But yeah, we do a lot of target shooting. Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah. So we got quite a collection of, my son has his own rifle. My husband has always had guns. Then he kind of introduced me when we got married, of course, to shooting. And I'm like, yeah, handguns, I don't really care for them. So, and then, no, I want the shotgun. So I'm the shotgun person with the rifle. And so, yeah, but we enjoy that. And we do clean up our mess in the forest.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Kyle, you want to pull one out of the hat, bud?
Yeah, I'm not much of a music person in the shop, but Ed asked, do you listen to music in the shop? And if so, what is your genre of choice?
It is always country music and radio. Just a radio channel here up in Oregon, and always country. Now, I'm not saying that I'm preferent to Oregon or to country music. I do like my Meatloaf, and I do like my Kiss, and I do like quite a bit of the early 70s rock bands. Yeah.
Yeah, listening to Meatloaf and working the lathe sounds like a hell of a Friday night. I think you've
Yes.
got something figured out right there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that definitely will get you going. Yeah.
Oh,
But
that's so cool.
Meatloaf is on the top of the list as far as rock bands.
So Kyle threw a little caveat to that in the bottom here. What's your favorite country artist or band?
Country artists, uh, I would have to say an oldie but goodie was probably Alabama. Yeah. Alabama and that era. Excuse me.
Saturday Night, right?
Huh?
Louisiana Saturday Night. That's who sings that, right? I think so.
Louisiana Saturday Night. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely Alabama is as far as the band. Individual, there's just so many out there that have good songs. I couldn't name them at all if I had to, but there's quite a few that I prefer listening to, and it's much of the older country music than the newer stuff.
You mean modern pop, right?
Yeah, modern pop rock country. Yeah, that's true.
All right, Macy, you want to pull one out of the hat?
Kyle wants to know what keeps you going, keeps you coming back to the shop, motivates you.
Oh, just sitting is just miserable. Have you ever just tried to sit in a chair and do nothing? That's just miserable. Even TV watching sometimes is miserable. I have to move, and regardless of how I hurt, I just keep going. I don't know what it is. My head just comes up with ideas, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I've got 7 projects all around me, and when I feel like doing that one, I'll start it, and then I'll move to the next one and do a little on it. And it all depends on the day. You know, I know when I can't do heavy work or work that requires me to stand a whole lot, then I'll do something that I have to sit. But you got to move. When you have a hunchback, and you just got to keep going.
That's words to live by for sure.
Yeah.
I know that you cleaned your shop about 2 months ago. Is that about right?
About 3, yeah.
Okay, about 3 months ago. How's that holding up? Because I'm sure everyone in the show can see that I am the definition of sawdust talk back there. I've been routing MDF down here in my spare time, and it's been a dusty catastrophe.
Well, other than when I cleaned the shop, it was great. It gave me so much room on the other side, one side, this side. Now I just have things stacked on top of things right now. But the worst thing was I couldn't find anything after I put it all away. It's like, okay, where's my glue? Where did I put it? Where did I decide to put, because I changed the whole dynamic of the whole room. And it was like, okay, my glue is usually way over there. Where did I put it? Now it's way over here under the bench, or under, if you could see this stack over here of monstrosity of, I've got everything hanging and sitting on that you would not, I filled it up. You want me to pack something? I can get it in a suitcase, let me tell you. I get a week's worth in a little carry-on, I can pack it, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, well, and you've played on the lathe enough times to know that if you spend any time wood turning, there's no clean shop ever again.
Well, that's clean. The shop with the lathe is clean because I haven't been back in there since I cleaned it. So that's one good thing. So, matter of fact, all my tools for the lathe are in a bucket over here because I decided before I get back on it, I needed to clean all of them. So they're clean and need to be sharpened before I start. So once I do that, then this is going to get turned.
Awesome.
So, but yeah, it's supposed to be 88 tomorrow, so we'll cross our fingers that maybe this weekend we can get in there. But
That's awesome.
yeah,
I don't know. Is it Kyle or Macy who's up for the next out of the hat?
You can go
Macy,
now.
it is.
Yeah.
Maker's Way wants to know, what was the first tool you ever bought, and do you still have it?
the first tool I ever bought was, I used my husband's tools, which was just a chop saw, and I think he had a skill saw. And then he bought me the 9-inch Arobi bandsaw. And I had that for years. And I cut anything and everything on this little bandsaw. And I mean, from thick wood, anything I could fit in there, I cut it on this little bandsaw. And that was the first tool. Then I graduated up to the big jet in the shed. So, but I never got rid of this one, little Roby. So, bandsaw is the most comfortable tool that I use.
Yeah, I have an old Craftsman similar to your Ryobi. I think it's like a 9-inch or something, and I can't get rid of it for reasons that I don't know. I've got a great big mean Laguna that just 8 feet away from it in the same shop, but I keep thinking, I can shove anything into that thing and it just kind of chews it up.
It eats them. Yeah, it needs a new blade, but for just little knick-knack, if I need to cut anything, such as the end of a board, well, I'd have to go out of the house to the shed, unlock the shed, get in the shed, and do all that for the big one. Well, I have this little baby one sitting right next to me. I can just put it through and be done. Hook up the little baby vacuum and off we go.
So cool.
Yeah. And matter of fact, even with my second tool was, my husband bought me a little 8.5-inch Craftsman chop saw. And I won't get rid of that. Next to it is the 10-inch. But I still won't get rid of the little 8-inch one just for fast little cuts. Then it's a little less intimidating than a 10-inch blade coming down on this little small piece versus, an 8-inch blade. So I just keep it around too. Don't ask how many routers I have, because that's just phenomenal.
You can never have too many routers.
I know. I think I have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 5 routers.
I gave one away to a woodworking buddy of mine that I'm not 100% sure how I acquired, but it's in the stash. But
and they're all different brands.
Yes, every last one of them. Yeah. All right, yeah. Kyle, is it your turn?
Yeah, I got one. So we've heard from Ed a lot tonight, but I think this was a good way to maybe show or end questioning. I guess we're getting pressed on time. He asked, "What most memorable project and why?"
Oh, I didn't hear that one. No.
What is the most memorable project and why?
Most memorable would be my peace sign flag that I made in 2015 because I did not know what I was doing. And it was made out of pallet wood. My husband worked at a company that brought beautiful, beautiful pallets home they had hardwood, I had maple, I had oak pallets, I had all these beautiful pallets. And then he brought home a box of these perfect cut pieces that I think probably went underneath something that was lifted off the forklift, or something for packing or whatever. and they were just perfect. And so then I made the round circle out of them, and then the peace sign in the center. I had no idea what I was really doing, and I still remember that I wanted to make the slats for the flag, but I wanted them rounded, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know, do I sand them? I really did not have a clue. And I remember I reached out to Fisher's shop, and he was making the wavy flags at the time. He made that one wavy flag, and I had enough guts at that time to ask, I'm making, a flag, and I want to round these pieces over so it looks like they're, I tried to explain it as much as I could on the phone without someone having visual concept of it. And he came back, he did answer. I forget what the answer was, but then I finally realized, what if I take the router and use this bit and round over the edges before I actually put them in? And I was like, ooh, I did that, and all on these little pieces. I know I clamped them down, and I had to move the clamps on each one. And I must have worked on that for months, but that was the best project I did. And it wasn't until months later that I realized, those, after I did several flags after that, I went, those stars were really terrible on that flag. After all these months, a matter of fact, I think a year or two went by, and I realized there are way too many stars on that dumb flag for being a union, and I had no clue at that time. But matter of fact, that flag went to my brother when he helped us move out here. He drove from Missouri to LA. Yeah, he's in St. Louis, or he's in St. Charles, and then he drove and pulled our quad and helped us move up here, and stayed a few days, and then went to Boise, Idaho. So for a thank you, I gave him that flag.
Very
and
cool.
So now it's in Missouri in a basement.
It's okay. I'll track it down for you. Give me his address. I'll go knock on his door, and we'll get you some content, okay?
Yeah.
So the time is now 11:01, but we have 23 of your biggest fans in the chat. So why don't you pick a number between 1 and, I don't know, 30? That's a nice round number. And in the chat, if you want to start guessing, if Nance puts, I hope she puts the number that I hope she puts. Maker's way through a 17 on there.
Nope.
All right. Sorry, Jeff. Sorry, Ed. But
No.
yeah, just keep an eye out, and we'll see if we can find it there. Let's see here. Who we got? Oh, Scott's in the house. Whoa.
13, 17. Nope. Getting close. Nope.
We believe in you.
Nope.
We believe in you, chat.
Close. Nope. Not yet. There we go. Tex. There. Number 25.
Oh, Tech Dog's got it.
Yeah.
Tech Dogs.
Yeah. 25.
Nice. Congratulations.
25.
Oh, wait, there was a negative 17? Holy moly. 71 is in there? Nice.
Nope,
All right.
25.
Yeah. So send us a DM after the show wraps up. Nancy, this was...
Well, thank you. This is fun. Thank you.
Practically a dream come true for Kyle and I. We are huge fans of you.
Well, like
Macy.
I said, I enjoy everyone's. I don't get to everyone's stories as much as I probably like to, but the running through the people's feeds and just learning things, and the reels are just phenomenal. And that's basically what we do. I search out just to learn things. So if anybody can do a video on router table, I'll be more than happy to watch.
All right, yeah, I'm going to be dropping a lift into this workbench thing that I've been working on for like 2 months. So we'll see about countersinking that down in there. I might
Yeah.
have to drive Kyle over from NC to show me how it's done the right way. He can get some MDF lung with me.
That'd be
Macy,
good.
any parting words, comments other than, you know?
You are incredible.
Thank you.
Looking at your feed today, there's nothing that you don't do. I mean, the scroll saw, the lathe. I mean, you're all of it. All of your stuff is awesome.
Thank you.
With inspiration.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I try. I don't like sticking with one thing, you know, so
But you're good at them all, so you don't need to.
well, thank you so much. And this has been fun. You know, like I said, I don't show my face much on the phone. I don't know why. I just don't. Half the time I try and make a video and then I stutter and then I don't post it. Half my stuff I don't even post because no one wants to see it.
I
No
do.
one wants to see it.
He does.
Yeah, post it.
I mean,
He does.
I've had so many things. I mean, I made a little turtle. I mean, come on, who doesn't like little turtles? You know,
That's
so,
amazing.
but I cut this out just so I could have the, you know, for the form for the router to, you know, for a template. So this is just the trash piece. I wanted the template part so I could use it on another piece, but you know, so I don't bother even posting little things that I've done. You know,
Our
I just
show
do
with
it.
Daniel Dunlap taught us that everything is content, and there's somebody who likes to mumble that into every reel. But
I know.
yeah, no, we want to see it. You have fans, and
Okay.
we are hungry for that content. So
Well,
you know,
I'll see what I've got a whole bunch of projects coming up, so maybe I'll just get on board and keep trying and keep posting. I'll keep trying.
that's excellent. All right, Nancy. Well, thank you
Well, thank
so
you
much
guys.
for staying up with us. And well, it's not so
Thank
bad
you.
in Oregon, but
No.
yeah, thanks for coming out, boys and girls. We will see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel on Sawdust Talk.
All
I
right. Thank you
wish
so
you
much.
all a
All
happy.
right. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.